In today's brief video, I want to talk about 5 common mistakes people make when they're thinking about quitting smoking weed or when they're in the process of quitting smoking weed. I am an ex-addict to nicotine, THC, energy drinks, and adult media content, and I now own the company AddictionMindset Recovery Coaching, which focuses on helping people quit each of those substances. Mistake number 1 is trading one addiction for another addiction. So when I first started quitting smoking weed, I told myself, all right, Frank, you're not going to smoke weed anymore, but you're going to be the guy that drinks 2 or 3 beers every night with dinner. What wound up happening was I'd stop smoking weed, but then I would start consuming more alcohol, or I'd start watching more porn, or I'd start consuming more nicotine. I felt like crap because of this. When you're quitting an addiction, the goal is to feel better. The goal is to partake in activities and things that make you feel better. You're quitting, presumably, because you feel like crap. So what would occur is I would then be drinking 2 to 3 beers a night with dinner. I would get terrible sleep. I'd feel like crap. And then here I am 20 days weed free. And I'd say, oh my God, I still don't feel good. I feel like garbage. I might as well smoke again. I might as well relapse. So watch out for that behavior. We see this all the time. People start to quit one addiction with the purpose of feeling better, but then they start to partake in other self-destructive behaviors, many times resulting in relapse. Mistake number 2 that people make is telling themselves that it wasn't that bad. This usually occurs around 30 days, 2 weeks, 90 days. You're feeling really good about your recovery process and your sobriety, and then you're at a wedding, you're at a party, you're at a big event, someone offers you some weed, and you say, yeah, of course, it's not that bad. I feel really good, don't I? You take a hit, and before you know it, you might find yourself stuck in that cycle of addiction again. This is why we encourage people to write down the reasons why you quit. And we also encourage people to write down the reasons why they used to smoke. Less anxiety, less depression. It helps me cope with stress. It helps me focus. And we tell people, when you write down the reasons why you smoke, you want to do your best to see those as either truths or lies that addictive voice is telling you. For example, weed was actually making my anxiety, depression, and my ability to cope significantly worse. And the reasons why I wanted to quit was because I wanted less anxiety, less depression, more mental clarity, and more energy. So when I'm in those situations where I might have been tempted to relapse, what I would do is I would refer to my lists and I would remind myself, Frank, it was that bad. You were in a really bad place because of weed, and now you're in a really good place because you've quit weed. The third common mistake people make when they're quitting smoking weed is comparing their journey to other people's journeys. I would find myself buried in Reddit forums and YouTube videos just like this one, reading about, oh my God, Sam is 2 weeks and he feels completely better. He has no more withdrawals. Why do I still have withdrawal symptoms? So-and-so is 90 days without weed and they've completely transformed their life, and I'm just sitting here with my thumb up my butt doing absolutely nothing. This would often result in relapse for me. Or on the opposite end of that, I would read accounts of people who were severely struggling with THC withdrawal and addiction, and I would find myself convincing myself that their struggles were my struggles. Addiction is a very unique experience to the user. This is your experience, not someone else's, so stop comparing your journey to other people's. The fourth common mistake people make when they're trying to quit smoking weed is thinking that they're totally alone and failing to get support. I'm the type of guy who likes to do everything myself. I try and run my businesses alone. That's a big mistake. I don't like asking for help. But support and getting that support and knowing that other people are going what you're going through and realizing that some other people might actually have solutions for you to the problems that you're facing while you're trying to quit smoking weed is a huge relief. So don't get buried in other people's journeys, but definitely take advantage of the resources out there. For me personally, I started doing a lot of talk therapy to deal with some past things that I had going through my head, trying to learn new coping mechanisms going forward. I had a business coach. I had a licensed psychologist that I was working with, and I was really doing my best to get the advice of people who have been there, done that. I wanted the shortcut to success when it came to my sobriety and recovery process. I wanted to make this process as painless as possible for myself. And that's exactly what the goal of Addiction Mindset Recovery Coaching YouTube channel is for you guys. The fifth mistake that people often make when it comes to addiction recovery, especially early on in the process, is they underestimate how challenging this might actually be. And look, for a lot of people, guys, they'll quit. They'll wake up one day, they'll say, I'm done with weed. I'm done with cigarettes. And they never look back. And it really is that easy for a lot of people. That's actually the number one way people quit. They wake up, they say, there's no benefit to me consuming this substance, watching porn, using nicotine, and they're done and they never look back. Those people have the most success. But for other people, it's going to be an ongoing challenge. 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 90 days. I had a young girl who didn't feel better until the 146th day of being sober from weed. But now she's living an amazing life, completely different from where she began. And I tell people, don't underestimate how challenging this might be for you. Because if you get 2 weeks in and you're just in the thick of it, or if your peak withdrawals don't happen in the first 3 to 5 days, but they happen on day 10, you might throw in the towel too early when that recovery and that joy and regaining your energy and your mental health might have been just a week or a day away. And I think this is so important because it relates to other aspects of life. We're going to face relationship challenges. We're going to face business challenges. We're going to face so many obstacles and roadblocks. And if you can learn the coping mechanisms and the tools to get through the challenges that you're going to face throughout your recovery and sobriety process, you can then apply those tools to other areas of your life. So when I run into a YouTube challenge where all my videos get demonetized for drug-related content, absurd, I'm able to accept that challenge and figure out additional solutions to it versus throwing in the towel. If I would have thrown in the towel one of the first times my several first videos got demonetized, we would never be here today having this conversation together. And the reason I was able to do that is because I made a decision a long time ago. I'm going to see something through. I'm going to see my sobriety and recovery process through. I'm going to see my YouTube channel through. I'm going to see my coaching business through. Come hell or high water, I'm determined. I got grit. I know I'm relentless because I was relentless in my pursuit of addiction and in my pursuit of these harmful substances. So I know for a fact I have every single skill it takes to make stuff happen. And I guarantee you, you have those exact same skills that I do. That's why you're on this channel. That's why these videos resonate with you. If you don't have those skills, guess what? We wouldn't be clicking on the same wavelength that we are now. So be firm in your decision, be ready for the challenge, and start to put the people and the community and the tools in place to make sure that you succeed. It's okay if you run into hiccups and road bumps along the way. I certainly did. It took me 8 of my 9 years of addiction to quit, but I'm telling you, if you get started on the right foot and you have a plan of action in place, you're going to reach that end goal of success. Remember, there is an end to the withdrawals. There is an end to these challenges that you're currently facing, but there is no end to addiction. Addiction is an endless cycle. And a bonus tip for you guys that I'm going to give you is this. When you're quitting, try and focus on goals just beyond getting sober. At first, of course, that's your primary focus, but I want you to start to focus on other things in life, other passions, other hobbies. Is it a business? Is it a relationship? Is it rebuilding your finances? Is it further developing your already wildly successful career? Most people who call me, they're already extremely successful financially. They're already very comfortable in their lifestyle. So what else is it that you can get a target on that you can go after? You're going to have to put all of this energy and all of this drive that you were putting into addiction into something else, into something productive. The only way to cure an obsession is with another obsession. Just make sure it's a healthy one that moves the needle forward in your life versus holding you back. Why don't you follow me into the next one where I talk about the new method for quitting using nicotine, which you can also apply to weed this year. I'll see you in the next video.